Welcome to the Battlefield Show. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and I'm joined, as always, by SammyBoiii.
Good to be back, guys. I'm very, very excited for this one.
I am so pumped. We have all the news. We don't have everything about Battlefield 2042, but we have a good look at Portal, a Battlefield Portal. It's gonna be so good. So we're going to be talking all about Portal and the information that they brought us at EA Play Live this year. So let's jump right into things. Dude, OMG.
That's really all there is to say.
Right? Okay, thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. I am absolutely over the moon. I'm going to come straight out and say it. This is the best thing to ever happen to Battlefield, I reckon. This has just given us unlimited potential to what we want to do, and I think it almost gives the game a bit of security, because even if the game is absolute garbage, which I don't think it will be, but even if it is, this mode is going to allow us to just make our own game modes, and I can fire up a stream and we can get a little community sort of game going, and I think it's just giving the game security, and it feels like this is going to be a Battlefield game for the ages after that.
It truly is, man. So if you weren't able to tune in live or haven't seen it yet, all the details. Battlefield announced the EA team, Ripple Effects Studios. They are previously they were DICE LA. They rebranded and they are launching a mode in Battlefield 2042 called Battlefield Portal. And Battlefield Portal is a, quote, love letter to Battlefield fans. It is basically an open sandbox type mode where you can create your own Battlefield experiences. And it's drawing from Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and it includes the content from Battlefield 2042. So those are the main things it's going to bring maps and content from. So with this game, with this mode, you can play... Let's just say you can play 10 1942 soldiers with 1942 weapons and 1942 vehicles on a 2042 map against, let's just say, one single 2042 player. So it's 10v1. Who's going to win? You could have that experience. You can customize these maps. There's a whole lot of customization available in this mode, all that we even know of. We don't know exactly how it's going to be implemented, but we got to look at some of the tools that are available to us. And it looks like developer tools. Like, when I saw that, I was like, what?
Dude, it is seriously like that thing, they called it the logic editor. That is genuinely nearly as powerful as being able to code our own games. Like, it is genuinely that powerful.
It's drag and drop coding.
Yeah, it literally is. They've made their own, like, sort of version of a coding program, and yeah, they've set up a bunch of stuff. They've essentially dumbed down coding for us, and we can just do whatever we want. And it is absolutely, it's just, I can't even put it into words. It is the most crazy thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this in gaming. I've never seen a company give so much power to the players. And obviously there's plenty of games out there with, like custom games and stuff like this, but that is just like it's just custom games on absolute steroids. And it's, I cannot wait to get stuck into it. It's going to be so much fun.
And so this is the tagline for it. When you go to battlefield.com, it says, change the rules of war with Battlefield Portal. Discover unexpected battles across new and classic games in this exciting feature coming with Battlefield 2042. It is truly incredible, the level of customization and the level of possibilities that are going to be given to us, the players. And it truly is a fan-run experience. Like, I love the dedication to offering something that all fans, the hardest core of fans, to even if you just get started into the franchise, you're going to be able to get a wonderful experience and look at the past games with new lenses, pretty much.
That's the thing. It's it's not just this comes across as something that's just for the hardcore fans, but it really isn't, because everyone benefits from this. If you've never played the older games, well, now you get to experience some of the best maps that have ever been made in the franchise for the first time. So everyone wins from this. It's obviously great for hardcore players that get to relive some old memories. But yeah, if you literally pick the game up on launch and it's the first one you've ever played, then you're also in for a wild ride as well. So it's gonna be so good.
It is. Oh my gosh. So let's break it down a little bit here. EA Play Live, while we had a lot of dev teams and a wide variety of people saying they won't be at EA Play, we got some overall pretty good stuff. What I was really happy with seeing more of a Lost in Random. I had forgotten that game was a thing, and now I'm so hyped around it. I love the deeper look into that. Didn't see a whole lot of sports or sims there. Like, we got some before the stream launched, and then we got some Apex, Knockout City, and then after Knockout City we got the Battlefield announcement. We got some pretty cool information around how it's going to be implemented, how it is going to be more of a live service thing, and they said they will be listening to the community around that. What do you expect to see? What were your thoughts initially, and what are you looking forward to seeing from this game mode?
Well, initially, because like this has been something that's been rumored. I remember back when, probably like 3 or 4 months ago, this was rumored that this was going to be like the game, like this would be the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of all known, or I shouldn't say known, because obviously you can never know with leaks, but we all kind of expected that something like this could be coming, and so I already had the expectation of like I thought it was going to be pretty cool, but I didn't really think, like, I was going into it thinking like, oh, this will be fun, but I'll probably still play the base game mostly, and I'll just do this every now and then. But after what they've shown us, like, I can see myself playing this 90% of the time, and I'll probably just every now and then I'll jump in to just the base game, because this is like everything that I want in any shooter. Really, is just different. Like, instead of just having the same game mode all the time, like, you could play a different game mode every day for a year and never play the same one twice. Like, there's going to be so many different things. I think the thing for me that I'm most excited for is probably, like, as a content creator, just being able to fire up a stream and get 20 guys in the chat and just say, all right, boys, what are we playing today? And we'll just go through, find the weirdest game mode we can find, and all jump in and just have absolute pure fun. There's no, over the top competition. There's no people going to be hacking, because you can just kick them from your own server and stuff. So it's seriously, like, I think, just the community side of it, not just like the broader community, but content creators, individual communities as well. I think so many people are just going to have an absolute blast with this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, yeah. In the stream, I stream. We both did on each of our different channels, but I said that automatically I am going, as soon as we get in there, we need to have like a bunch of people get together and do a custom match where we do exactly what they had in the trailer, where they had numbers versus, or quality over quantity. So you had the 2042 team, which had fewer numbers, and then you had the 1942 team with excess numbers. I think that'd be super fun. But the level of customization, friend of the podcast, friend of the channel, Spikle, has said this is basically their GTA 5 moment. This mode here could run Battlefield 2042 into the next 10 years, just that single mode. And I said this in the stream, they almost could have, and we'll see how this turns out. This mode itself could have definitely been its own standalone experience, either free or cheaper, and I think people would have swamped to it. So I think it's going to be a big draw for a lot of people jumping into Battlefield 2042.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about it, is this is just like a section of the game, and it is enough to be a selling point. Like, it's there's already the base game, which like from the reveal and the gameplay trailer, all of us was so excited. That's the base game. This is just like a little segment of the game, and it's the fact that it's so big and so like exciting. We haven't even seen Hazard Zone yet, so there's another one of these coming. That there's just some other section of the game that we don't even know about. So, man, it's just I can't explain how excited I am. It's set up to be really, really like one of the better Battlefields, and it's obviously easy to say that when we haven't played it and stuff. It could be terrible. It could have terrible gameplay and everything, but this mode, I don't even think the gameplay matters. I can just see myself running around like what we saw in that little gameplay snippet with the EOD bots like chasing down a tank. Like, you don't need good gameplay for that. You can literally just do the most random little game modes, and it's going to be so much fun. So, like I said earlier, I think this is just really like security for the game. It just makes it feel like this can't possibly not be fun, because unless this mode or something is completely bugged and you can't, set up games properly or something, there's just no way that you can't make your own fun game modes. If you don't like how the rest of the game plays, that doesn't even matter, because you can just make your own version of it. So it's amazing, dude.
It's super, super cool to see. And they said it exactly. It's your sandbox, your rules. This is the Battlefield sandbox. You can play in it however you want to. You can create whichever modes that you want to. You can say, I only want snipers from 1942 and then shotguns from 2042. Like, you can say that, and you can play that.
It's it's more than I ever expected. We always knew, like, from the rumors that it was going to be a fun little experience, but the power behind it of what we can make, I don't think people are going to grasp until it's out, and probably till 6 months afterwards, what we can actually make. I think right now most people are thinking of, what they showed us in the little gameplay snippets and game modes like Infected and stuff. We've all got these ideas, and it already sounds amazing. But once people see the tools that they showed us at the early reveal, I think people are going to be like, holy shit, this is like, we were just scratching the surface, because what people are going to be able to make is just going to be absolutely wild.
The opportunities are going to be endless. What I really appreciate is the thing that they say here about shared progression. Earn XP no matter how you play. Progression is shared between Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield Portal, which means you're constantly feeding your rank and battle pass. I love, too, that last part, that the fact that you'll be able to play no matter what mode you're in and earn towards your battle pass is fantastic.
Yeah, that is a big plus. Like, that's something that they could have easily said, nah, it's not fair to level up in these modes, so we're not going to let that. And I think most people probably would have been like, yeah, fair enough, like that's fine. But the fact that they went ahead and just did it, that's amazing to see, because it takes that grind out of it. I think like you can just play Infected with the boys and still level up your battle pass and stuff. So there's no longer that like, oh, I've got to go, like, the battle pass is nearly done, I can't play these games today because I've got to go and play Conquest to level up the battle pass. There's no more of that. It's just, if you're playing, you're gaining XP. So I think that's a massive thing from them.
A question I do have is, what is the level of control over the AI? Will you be able to add AI? Will you be able to do a swarm mode like that? I think it'll be interesting to see how they tie in the AI soldiers into this mode, or even if they do it at all, and what kind of experiences that those will add and change.
Yeah, so I should clarify for the viewers, because I've obviously told you, but I was actually lucky enough to be invited to the early reveal, and some of the stuff they showed us there, there was a little snippet where they went through, well, not a little snippet, it was 20 minutes of the 45-minute thing. They were building, it was like a snipers versus shotguns gun game.
Okay.
So one team had snipers, the other team had shotguns, and then as you get a kill, you level up to the next shotgun or sniper. And he went through pretty much step by step the entire process. And yeah, there was a section where you can choose to have AI soldiers. You can have, it looked like you could probably have like I assume you can make these modes for essentially offline gameplay, as in you can just do you versus 127 bots if you wanted to. It looked like that. I can't really confirm that, but the amount of control was like there really was no limits. Anything that we can really think of in terms of the rule sets anyway. You can't change stuff like you can't move the maps around and stuff, but anything that's within the rule set, you can essentially change that. So you could have, for example, you can make a game mode that's just conquest with one player versus 127, and you could have, there's just unlimited like rules behind the rules, if that makes sense. So it does seem like you can essentially turn AI off. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed that you can just have zero AI in these modes, or you can, by the looks of it, you can essentially make an AI server for yourself if you wanted to test it out. So the customization is absolutely unreal.
Yeah, you could create your own co-op mode.
Yeah, exactly. You literally can. You could make a Rush server that is essentially the exact thing that co-op is in Battlefront 2, where it's like you move through the map. You could make exactly that in Battlefield. It's gonna be absolutely wild.
It's so mind-blowing.
I know.
From some of your experiences getting some extra looks at the game, what are you most excited for on what they've shared with you and what they've shown in that trailer, in that little deeper dive that they gave us?
Well, one thing that they didn't really talk about this that much in the actual EA Play thing was that there is different like experiences within Portal. So they've got official experiences that are made by them. So regular servers. So there'll be like Conquest on all 13 maps, or they might have Conquest on only the old maps, or they'll probably even have servers where it's Bad Company 2 Conquest, for example.
Okay.
So there is official ones that are like, they're not going to be silly rules or anything. It's just literally Conquest, but with the new, the new stuff that they've added with the Portal mode. And then on top of the official ones, then there's obviously the community games. And what they're going to do with the community games is they're actually going to spotlight some of their favorite ones that the players make. So there's like I think they said they were called tags when you're making the game. And that's like, it pretty much lets them know what type of mode it is and stuff like that. And then they're going to be able to go through. And if one of them, if someone just makes the best mode that's ever been made in Battlefield, they'll know that that's there, and they'll be like, "Oh, that is amazing. Let's spotlight that, and let's make." They'll show the creator's name on the Battlefield, like on the server browser, essentially, and showcase each everyone's games and stuff like that. So there'll be a section that's the community spotlight showing off their favorite creations, but then you can also just go through literally every single server that has been made. You can look at every game that is currently going, and there might be just some wild game modes down the bottom that no one really sees. But yeah, the fact that they're going to spotlight them, I thought that was pretty awesome, because like, let's just say you or I just make a really awesome mode, and it's like it's a genuinely good mode, not just a bit of fun. Yeah. They can spotlight that and sort of have it in the rotation and all that kind of thing. So I think that's probably one of the things that I'm most excited about that they didn't really talk about in EA Play. The fact that there's like community stuff, but then the fact that there's also official game modes that is just legit Conquest or Rush or whatever, that's what we know. That's also exciting, because I would like to just play Rush on all 13 maps in a rotation. That would be so much fun. So the fact that you don't have to worry about setting up your own server for that, you can just join theirs, that's definitely awesome as well.
Definitely. It's like Mario Maker for Battlefield.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I really like what they showed us. They showed a mode that you can make where every time you get a kill, it's a different loadout. I am so pumped to make or play one that someone else has made or they have made of exactly that. Each time you get a kill, you level up and you get a completely different loadout. I think that's going to be super, super fun.
Yeah, that's like gun game on steroids, isn't it? It's like you get a whole new loadout, and that this is what I mean. It's just like the gun game type of stuff that we know. People are just going to make like way more advanced versions of that, And yeah, like everything that we can think of right now is going to be like the most basic game modes. And in 6 months after the game launches, we're all going to be like, oh, wow, I can't believe we were thinking of such boring modes like those, because there's going to be just crazy that we can make. So I think that's partly like what I'm most excited about, is just to see, like, I'm going to be paying such close attention to what people are making, and just, it's going to be so much fun to see what people come up with.
Yeah, I expect there will be many. I will probably do this. You'll probably do this. There's probably going to be a few people that do this, but like a weekly Portal highlight, the top five servers to play in Portal. Yeah, like that. The videos make themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I love something with Battlefield 5. They really hammered down on the larger experiences, and I was trying to find a smaller game mode to play because I love it. And I was like, it's been so long since I played Battlefield 5, I had forgotten that there aren't small game modes besides Team Deathmatch, and most of the ones that are available now are 32 players. And I was like, what the heck? There's no small ones. Well, now it takes the stress and weight off of DICE to add these smaller scale game modes, and they can focus on, like, ultimately what it comes down to is they can focus on the larger scale full game, and it gives the keys to the kingdom for players to make their own game modes.
Yeah, that's like, I actually hadn't even thought of that. That is like one thing I've had an issue with in Battlefield 5 is that they did have Rush as like a limited time mode, and Rush is one of my all-time favorites. I just love that. It's so small and like just chaotic.
Yes.
But you can't play it half the time. And as much as I understand limited time modes, they're there to, like, you know, when they are available, more people come back and play. So they're kind of like a marketing tool. But it is frustrating when you just want to jump on and play Rush. So now if someone makes this cool game mode that I really liked, and then, you know, normally you'd have to be like, oh, we can't play it this week because it's not there. Well, that no longer exists. Like if someone, even if that server's not there, I'll just make my own of the exact same thing. So there's no longer like that limitation of, you know, there's only, like, we were worried. I remember in the first podcast we did, I think, we were talking about how there's only Breakthrough and Conquest. Like there's only, there's only 2 modes to play. That sucks. Well, now there's literally 1 million game modes that we can play now. So that's what you said was spot on. Like they don't have to worry about bringing in new modes and stuff. They can work on maps and weapons and stuff. They don't really need to keep us entertained. They can just be like, here's the stuff, play that. We're going to make some new maps and stuff. But you guys can figure out whatever the hell you want to do with it. Like that, you just go make your own fun. So it's not only better for us, but it's also definitely better for them because they don't have to worry about, you know, oh, everyone wants Rush to come back. We're going to have to bring Rush back. They can just put the stuff there. We can do whatever we want.
Where do you see the main game after this review? Because I am a lot less excited about the main full game now that this is out.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, yeah, I almost don't care about the main game at this point. The fact that we can mix it in there, I think I don't even need to play the main. I don't need to play 2042 Conquest. I'll play Conquest with all the maps because I don't need, like, I can still experience those maps and have them in the rotation with the other 6 maps. So for me, the base game Borderline doesn't exist anymore. I'll be probably playing Portal. Even when I want to just jump on and play, you know, Conquest on Hourglass, I'll just probably do it in Portal and have the rotation there with all the other maps as well.
Exactly. It's a shame, but also really cool that they did this.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? I didn't think of that until you said it. No one cares about the actual game now.
It's true. I think it's a big benefit that Battlefield 2042 content will be available in the mode for Portal, because I clearly could have seen them say, hey, all of this is only the old stuff. You guys have fun. If you want the main game, go to the main game instead of just this specific mode, which now that we're talking about it, would probably have made better sense for the main game, because they're going to have very specific reasons for you to want to go to the main game and go to those main rotations when you can just go into the community tabs and see what you want to play. I mean, what is probably going to happen is the main rotations of the community made, or the dice made maps, will be specifically different from the main game. And then some of the community ones, maybe if you just want to play vanilla Battlefield, you go to the main game. But any other chance, because I could see like, oh, there's only one server available right now with people in it, and it says it's not allowing grenades. You're like, well, I really want to play with grenades, so I'm just going to go to the main game. Maybe that's the whole pitch?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think, if anything, it really just seems to show how much they just want us to have fun. I think they're actually just like, we don't care if you don't play the main game.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not sure how it's going to be structured either. I'm not sure if it's going to be a separate, like, for example, in Call of Duty, you like have COD and then Warzone. It's like there's kind of a different game in a way. I'm not sure if it's going to be like that, or if it's literally just exactly like, you go into the server browser and then you can search official games or Portal games, for example. Because if that's the case, they probably don't care because you're still in the main game, really. But yeah, I think it just goes to show that I don't know, they just seem like they just want us to have fun. I don't think that, because, for example, I think if this was Call of Duty, I feel like they would make it like a bit more separate, and they would make it still a better thing to play the base game. Yeah, and this would just be a little off, like a spin-off thing. But this, they seem like it's just all one thing. So it might not even affect the base game at all, really. And the other thing is that, like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of like the super casual players that they probably don't care about the Portal stuff, and they just want, maybe they're not a fan of World War II stuff, so they just go, I don't really want to play that. I'll just play regular Battlefield. And so I'm sure still a lot of people will play that. But I think the fact that there's server browser, if this was happening in Battlefront 2, I'd probably be worried, because I think the player base would get split up a little bit. But because the server browser, I don't think it matters, because you can just go join, like you can kind of check the servers yourselves. But yeah, I remember with Battlefront 2, they were they didn't want too many game modes because they didn't want it to be hard to find games, since we couldn't search for our own game. So I think the server browser kind of fixes a lot of those issues.
And ultimately, like, what does it matter? Like, you are going to be playing Battlefield 2042. You bought the game. You're playing it. It doesn't really matter which mode you play inside of Portal or outside of Portal in the main section. That you're playing the game. So I don't know. I think that's just my only concern is like, why play anything but Portal?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, I almost don't think I will. Like, I'm sure I will, but I know that if I can just play Conquest on the 2042 maps, and then also get to play some of my all-time favorite maps like Caspian Border, like, I know that I would just love to add that to the rotation. So, I'd imagine most of the time I'm playing, like you said, there's really not that much point to just play, unless you just feel like you only want to play on the new maps or whatever. But like you said, I don't think it really even matters, does it? Because you still buy the game and you're still technically playing 2042, so I don't think it really matters to them, I guess.
What are your thoughts on the maps that they chose to add to Battlefield 2042 Portal, or Battlefield Portal?
I could not be happier, to be honest. I never really played 1942, so I have never really played those maps, but I know both of them just because they are obviously so loved. So I'm definitely very keen to play them because I've never played on either of those maps. Eureka Harbour is probably the map that I think of when I think of Battlefield, to be honest. That's like one of the first maps I ever remember playing in Bad Company 2. And then Caspian Border is my single favourite map in any shooter. So I could not be happier with the map choices. Like, I almost would have picked all 6 of those if they said pick your own 2 maps from 1942, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, I nearly would have picked the exact ones that they chose. So I'm feeling pretty lucky that I really enjoyed them. I'm sure there's a lot of people that might have chosen others, but yeah, I definitely feel pretty lucky that they're some of my favorites.
Yeah, and for those of you who are not aware, we have 6 total maps, 2 from each game. 2 for Battlefield 1942, 2 from Bad Company 2, and then 2 from Battlefield 3. Battle of the Bulge, El Alamein, Arica Harbor, Valparaiso,
Valparaiso, I think it's called. I haven't actually heard that for a long time, so I can't remember, but I think it's Valparaiso.
Caspian Border, and Nashar Canals. All really, really good maps. And no, we don't have any Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 5 maps. This is a live service game, so I expect definitely if it's going to be community supported, they've said that they're listening to the community. They showed some of the people that got early access in the little reel, just to fuel the feedback around this. I definitely expect some maps from Maps and Content, maybe just maps, maybe just content, something along the lines of Battlefield 4, because it's just such a popular thing, and it's risen in such popularity recently from the rise of Battlefield 2042. Basically shot that game into stardom once again.
For like the 10th time, yeah.
Right.
it's been hanging on forever. I don't know how that game is still so popular with it.
Every time a Battlefield game comes out, it's like, I am alive again. Really, really cool. And I don't think we really specifically touched on it, but do you want to let listeners know about the customization in terms of equipment and vehicle stuff? Like what are we looking at on that front?
So they've added a bunch of weapons, vehicles, and gadgets from each of the games as well. I think that they said, I actually wrote down a list and I counted 61 weapons, but I think there are like some double ups. So they've kind of said on Twitter and stuff it's 40 weapons. But
okay,
there was like, for example, an M416 from Bad Company 2 and then an M416 from Battlefield 3. So I don't know if they're going to have like 2 versions of it or if it's just like one gun, but it was listed in both categories in the thing that we saw.
Okay. So
at the very least, anyway, they've confirmed that there's 40 plus weapons. I think 40 plus vehicles as well, and then about roughly 30 gadgets as well. So not only like the maps were enough to sell me. If I could just play using the modern 2042 guns on those maps, that's enough for me. But the fact that we get to run around and use an M1 Garand, like that's just it just keeps adding. Every time I think of an extra thing, I'm like, wow, this is actually so much. Because when you think about it, if they have 40 weapons in the base game, we're launching with 80 plus weapons and 13 maps. Like this is a lot of stuff. So it kind of just keeps like, it's almost compounding every time you think of it now, like another thing. You're like, this is actually enormous what they're adding. But yeah, there's going to be about. There looked like there was probably, I want to say at least 10 guns from 1942, most of just like the fan favorites. There was like the Thompson, the MP40, the STG, Kar 98, stuff like that, just typical World War II guns. And then, yeah, same for Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. They've essentially just taken like I'd imagine the most used weapons, because they actually mentioned that they did most of this through data collection. So with the maps, they didn't choose them themselves. It was like the maps that the data shows are the most played and stuff like that. So I'd imagine they're just the most used weapons over those 3 games, really.
Yeah, it's really cool to see them using the numbers, because I think we're all very curious about like what they look at, and this is them saying, hey, yeah, we looked at the numbers, and this is what you guys love the most. These are the weapons that you enjoyed the most in those games. And it's the animation, the little cinematic whatever they had, where he starts off with a weapon, it changes again. It had me so hyped.
Yeah, that was such a great way to start the trailer, wasn't it? That was like, as soon as you see that, you're like, oh no, we're doing this, are we? It's so good.
Yes, it is fantastic to see this expansion. What is your biggest takeaway from what was shown today, and what are you looking forward to?
Like I said earlier, I just think essentially the security for the game. I just don't see this game being bad now. I see no possible way that it can not be fun, because even if, like I said, even if it's the worst game ever made, I think we can just make our own game modes and it's just going to be so much fun anyway. So I think just the shift in their attitude from Battlefield 5, where they obviously, it was just such a rough launch, and there was the whole, like, if you don't like it, don't buy it, like all the drama that was going on, to now the like polar opposite of that, where they're literally like, we want to do everything we can to make you guys enjoy this game. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, is just like, this just shows that they really, really care. And it not only is awesome now for what's going to launch, but if they just keep that mentality for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then there's no doubt that they're gonna keep adding awesome stuff like this. So I think this is just setting the game in the right direction, really, and it's definitely great to see after some rough times with Battlefield 5.
Mm-hmm. They're getting back on the right path. I was talking with Uplink team member Dinko, and he's like, so what happened? Did they just get rid of all the Battlefield 5 people? And
yeah, it's weird to think about, isn't it? Like, they must have like really had to sit down, like, a meeting, and been like, all right, we kind of messed up the last one. We need to fix this, because you don't see in any team, whether it's a development team or a sports team or whatever, you don't see drastic changes like that in the span of 3 years without something big happening. So they've obviously acknowledged what went wrong, and it's not like I'm probably making it sound worse than it was. I really like Battlefield 5, but they obviously just had a shaky launch, and I think they just know that that's probably not the way to go about it, really. And they've clearly changed their way, and I think it's for the better, and it benefits not only us, but it benefits them too, because the game's just going to be better, and that's just going to be better for them, obviously.
Oh, definitely. So, question for you, and then I'll answer afterwards. What is the first mode you want to jump into or create in Battlefield Portal?
I mean, there's going to be so many.
I know,
so
right?
So hard, but I think Infected. I think I want to start up a stream, and I want to choose me as the infected guy, and have a bunch of guys in the chat all having an absolute blast, and I've got to go around and try and use a knife to kill them and turn them to my team. I think that's the first thing I'll be doing, because I just love Infected from all the other shooters that have had it. So there's so many, but yeah, I think that's the one that sort of the first thing I thought of when they sort of went into the power. I was like, oh wow, I need to play Infected again.
Yes. For me, probably, I'm going to be really boring about this just because of my love for Gunmaster, aka Gun Game. I want to play that. Like, honestly, that is what I'm looking forward to, is the smaller scale experiences. I mean, yeah, I'm super pumped about the large scale stuff, but give me the really fast paced, really, yeah, you jump in, you get some kills, you get killed, and then you jump right back in.
Yeah, I think the game needs that. I think you need to have both. I think, I mean, it's why Call of Duty does so well, because it is, you just jump on, you can play for literally 10 minutes and play a game and get off if you've just got 10 minutes to kill, whereas in Battlefield, it's like sometimes you've got to sit there for like 45 minutes to play a game. So, yeah, I think you're spot on. I think having both options just means that there is now something for everyone. If you don't like the big maps, then go play Eureka Harbor, which was designed for 24 players, and play that with 128 players and just have absolute chaos. So there is just something for everyone now.
I am also looking forward to that, exactly. I mean, I think we talked about it last episode, where we were talking about some of the maps that we would like to see in a Battlefield love letter type mode, and I really wanted the what is the name? It's the prison.
Operation Locker. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that, but with 128 players. If they eventually add that, we can have that exact mode.
Yeah, we were kind of like dreaming a bit last week, and now we realize that's kind of a reality. If they added that map, you could literally do whatever you wanted with it. So, that would be so much fun.
It truly is, and like you said, we were joking around, but that joke will become a reality. Oh man, I'm super looking forward to it, and I cannot wait to see how the game shifts and changes. I'm really glad that they went ahead and talked about how you can jump into a game mode. They have a queue that they personally put together. They have fan favorite ones, and then you can just go through and browse whichever one you want to, which I was scared that they were going to really hammer down on the fact that we want to hide the server browser as much as possible, but they are really embracing it.
Yeah, I think that's really important for the game. The direction they're taking it, with obviously wanting it to just be pure fun. I think part of what is fun is the freedom to do what you want. I think when it's, even if the game modes that they made, if they're really fun, but you're kind of locked into those, that's still not that fun at the end of the day. So
yeah,
just giving us the freedom to choose whatever we want. It just, there is just something for everyone now, which is what they needed, really.
I'm so excited, man. Any final thoughts before we close out this episode? We are going to put together some new topics now that we have a bunch of new information around Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield Portal. But any final thoughts, something that you're really excited about or looking forward to, or something that you noticed that you really want to talk about?
One thing that I probably haven't talked about enough is just the actual Battlefield builder that they, like the programming type of thing that they mentioned. They confirmed that is like on a website as well, so you can access that from anywhere. You can make,
whoa.
Yeah, you can. I don't know why they didn't mention. I guess they wanted to leave it to some of the creators to talk about. I don't know, but they didn't mention a lot of this stuff in the like EA Play thing. But one of the examples they used is like, if you're on the bus on the way to school, you can literally make a game mode and you can be like, oh, this sounds really fun. I just had a great idea. Let me make that now on the way to school. And then you can play it when you get home. Like, you can access it from anywhere and it saves, and the other good thing is that they don't have to like update that through the game now. So we don't need to download an update. If they have a bug with it, they can fix that server side, and
that
it's
is
instantly fixed.
Huge.
Yeah, that's like something that I didn't see. I don't think, because I was streaming, so I was like talking at the time, and I'm sure I missed certain things that they said, but I feel like they didn't mention that at all in the EA Play showcase.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like that's massive. So I assume it works on a phone. I don't know if it'll be hard to do on a phone, but if you've got a laptop and you're at the library and you're bored, like, go make a game mode for Battlefield. You can literally do that. And the way that they showed it, like, you can save, or you can have multiple modes saved and ready to go, and you can, sort of have them, maybe you're halfway through it and you can't finish it, you can save it and save it for later. So the fact that that's done through a website is like really big, I think, because it'd be pretty hard for them to do that through the game, especially on console. Like, it's pretty hard to have like the control to do that. So the fact that they've done it through a website, not only is it big for their customization, but like I said, it gives them so much more freedom with like updating it, and we don't need to download a big update when they do an update. It just happens automatically. So that was probably the biggest takeaway from it, really, is that this is like an external thing, kind of the same as like Battlelog, how that used to be done through the browser. This is completely separate from the game, but it also shows up in the game as well. So if you make the mode and save it, then when you log into your Xbox later, it'll be there waiting for you, and I think you can tweak it in there. I don't know if you have the same customization, but they confirmed you can tweak it through the game as well. So I thought that was definitely pretty massive.
That is huge too. And I love the fact that it's on a website. You can access it from anywhere. It goes to the game. That is amazing. And it's such a great level of implementation. Yeah.
It's very rare that you see, like, a lot of games have tried to do stuff with like external stuff, like through websites and stuff. And every now and then it has worked. It's worked, for example, stuff like the tablet commander mode in Battlefield 4, like stuff like that is so awesome when they manage to put the game on in another place, and you can edit things from different areas. I think that's just such a great thing. I always love like companion apps, for example, where you can download the app and look at your stats and stuff. So
yes,
anything that they take it out of the game and like put it somewhere else, I think it's just so good, because now we can access it from anywhere. If you're at school and you're getting on the bus to go home, you don't have to wait to get home to make the mode. If you have a really good idea, you can just pre-make it and then literally walk in the door and start playing it when you get home. So the power of this, like I just said it earlier on, that I don't think we quite know yet how crazy this is. Like on paper it sounds crazy, and then I think, like I said, in 6 months we're going to be like, we can do absolutely crazy things with this.
Yeah, it's going to be like learning a new development language. Once, like, we're going to be able to play around with it and say hello world, and then 6 months from now we're going to be able to do whatever we want to.
Yeah, well, one thing I actually like thought of it as a comparison was like, look at the modding community for Battlefront 2. That started very basic, and they were still cool mods, but they weren't that different from the game. They were more like reskins and stuff. Yes. Whereas now, people have been. There was like a Darth Bane mod that came out where he's got sparks flying everywhere and stuff. And the stuff that people have learned to do over the last 3 years, it takes time to learn that. You can't just do that instantly. So, like you just said, we'll get it at launch, and I'm sure there'll be some awesome game modes. But then I can guarantee in 3 years, people will have like cracked the code, and they'll know how to do even crazier things. And it literally is like, I'm actually studying digital design, so I do a fair bit of coding, and it literally is not that much different than straight up coding your own game modes. Like, it is genuinely that powerful. So it's going to be wild to see. Like, this is going to evolve. Just the Battlefield builder, let alone the content we get, just that is going to evolve as well. So yeah, I'm so excited for it.
It's huge. When they showed the UI for that, I was freaking out. It was so like, I don't know how they got that to be implemented. Who had to say yes to make that happen? Whoever did, thank you so much, because that is exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, and it's also crazy because like, this is something we never would have thought of. Not like, no one in the community would have asked for this. This is like something we didn't really think was possible, and the fact that they've still done it is just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to see.
I'm so excited and looking forward to it. Final question, and we may dedicate a whole episode to this, or have a part of it. When do you expect we'll see something along the lines for Hazard Zone?
They were very vague about it again, both at EA Play and in the early.
Yeah, they said later
reveal.
this year, but I mean, we're 3 months away from that. So is it going to be a post-launch thing, or are we going to see something late September?
Yeah. I don't know. It's, for example, because again, it's not a battle royale, but it has that battle royale-esque feeling about it. And most games that have launched like with a separate battle royale, they tend to be late. Like, they kind of come, for example, Firestorm didn't come at launch of Battlefield 5, and same with Warzone. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's like 6 months, maybe it comes out April next year or something. And in that case, maybe we won't see it until, literally like the end of the year. I'm not really sure. But in saying that, there's so much content that they've made that it wouldn't also surprise me if it is at launch, because I didn't really think it was possible. When you think of the size of the maps, I didn't think it was possible to have 13 maps at launch either. So it's, yeah, I'm not really sure. Because and this is something they didn't mention in EA Play as well. The beta, they confirmed the beta is from, I think they said the 6th of September until the 11th. So that's literally 6 weeks away. In 6 weeks, we're going to be playing Battlefield. But like that kind of, I feel like that kind of takes the slot of when I thought Hazard Zone was going to get talked about. So unless they release the beta and then talk about it, that's still possible. But yeah, I would have thought September. Like if I had to guess, I would have said September would be when they talk about that, because they've kind of had the reveal, then a month later or 6 weeks later they had this, and then another 6 weeks later they had Hazard Zone. So yeah, I would have guessed September, but now I'm not really sure. And like you said, it could be after launch. I really have no idea.
Or I was 100% sure that it would be a launch thing until they said we'll have more details on Hazard Zone later this year. And it's like, that's not something you say when the game comes out in October. And
yeah,
what?
Like we nearly are later this year already.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of, yeah, I agree with that. It's just, yeah, it is definitely feeling like it's going to be post-launch, which I wouldn't be against that. Because
yeah, I'm fine if they need the extra time to work on that game mode. And we already have enough content right now with Portal.
Yeah, it's so weird, isn't it? I keep thinking I'm talking about the actual game Portal.
Yeah. I mean, I did play that last week, but I don't know. I think it's fine if they say, yeah, we need some more time to really get this polished to the point that we really want it to. I'm fine with that. We have more than enough content right now to hold us off for a while. So they can really take their time to really get that game mode to where they need it to. I think it'll be fine. And I think with the fan trust earned back with this announcement around Battlefield Portal, I think a lot of people will give them a lot of leeway with anything they announce going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think I almost want it, like, I would love to have it at launch, but I almost want it to be, post-launch, because I would like them to make sure that the base game is what it needs to be first and then launch it. Because also, if this is going to be a thing like a Warzone where it's like appealing to so many more people, they want the base game to be good before they do that. They don't want to launch it and bring in millions of new players and then the game is just in an absolute mess. So I almost do want them to put it off if that's their plan and just, launch it 6 months later or something, even 3 months later, and just make sure the base game is what it needs to be. And then also, like, if the base game, gets really good reviews and stuff, then if they launch that and the base game has gotten good reviews, then more people are probably willing to play it as well, because they go, oh, this is a new mode that looks awesome, and the base game, everyone's raving about it. So I think it's nearly a better idea, really, to launch it later. But yeah, I'm not opposed to anything at this point. There's enough content in the game. I don't really care what they do at this point. I just want to get the base game and the new Portal mode, and that would last me for a year. Honestly, I think I could have fun for a year without any content, and obviously that's not the case because they're going to have season 1 not too short after launch. So I think they've done enough for now to keep us all entertained, and hopefully they just make the right decision, really.
Yeah, you done good. You done good. Oh man, I'm excited. A spark has been brought back into the world, and it was a great addition to EA Play Live. And I think without Battlefield, I think EA Play Live would have been a lot more disappointing. But hey, dude, Dead Space is coming back as well.
Oh, mate. You should have seen my reaction. I might have to try and send you a video of it.
Yes.
And I kind of knew it was coming because it was heavily rumored. And then then when he walked off the stage and I saw the black room, I was like, oh my God, we're getting Dead Space. I flipped it, dude. It was so good.
thought it was like an extra sneak peek at Battlefield, so I was like, what's going on? And then I see that and I was like, is Battlefield going to have a zombies mode? And I was like, oh my gosh, Dead Space, what?
Oh, it was so good. It was a perfect little teaser, I thought. It was, they didn't need to show like a bunch of gameplay. They did enough, so...
And I think going
it.
forward, I would love to see as little as humanly possible around that game and its story, because I want to go in as blind as possible and get as scared as possible playing that game.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and replay the old ones. I think I haven't played. I think I don't even know if I played the first one. I know I played Dead Space 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And I haven't played them for a long time, so I'm definitely gonna have to replay those before the new one.
Same. Watch the sales of Dead Space just go up exponentially. It's gonna be topping on Steam charts next.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Motive's gonna be working on it too, which I'm super happy about.
Yeah, that's exciting. That kind of makes sense a bit now with Squadrons. I think I knew that they would be involved somewhere, so that's exciting to see where they've kind of moved on, which is good.
Yeah, fantastic team. I think they are a great addition, considering they were built specifically to work on Battlefront originally, and then they launched with Squadrons offering a fantastic experience, and now they have definitely shown their worth in development, and I think the stories that they can offer are going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to see what they offer for the universe of Dead Space and bringing that franchise back.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very exciting. I'm keen to see how it goes.
I think with that, we'll call this episode an end. Next time, we'll be diving deeper into some of the details that come out later on. We'll definitely be seeing more. So if you're not subscribed, definitely consider subscribing and following us on all the platforms. And if you would do so, please leave us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. It helps us out a bunch. Even if you just download iTunes on your Windows machine, leave a review, and then delete it. It helps us out an absolute ton and helps more people find the show and gets us your feedback. So thank you so much for everyone for listening and supporting the podcast. And thanks, Ethan Clark, for the wonderful thumbnail. And we'll see you all next week to talk more about Battlefield.